So a couple of years ago, I saw this movie. It's probably about 9 or 10 years ago. It's called 127 Hours. It was pretty wild movie. It was really about survival. It's based on a true story. This guy goes out hiking one day, and there's a rock slide, and he gets crushed, or his right arm gets crushed by this huge rock, and he's pinned in between the rock and this sort of like wall, and can't get out, can't possibly move this rock. And he's in this really remote area. He knows that nobody's going to be coming around, and he's got just a little bit of food with him. And he didn't even tell anybody that he was going hiking. So it's going to be a while before people realize he's even missing. So he realizes he's in a serious jam. He starts rationing his food. It's 127 hours because that's how long he was there, a little over 5 days. And after a few days, he's starving, and he realizes he's dying. He's got this pocket knife with him. And he, early on in this ordeal, he looked at the knife, and he contemplated what he might have to do with the knife, which would be to cut his arm off in order to separate himself from this rock. But he won't even consider it for obvious reasons. Well, day 3 passes, day 4 passes, and he knows he's dying. And he knows, like, if I don't face this, I'm not going to get out of here alive. So ultimately what he does is he uses this very simple kind of pocket knife tool to amputate his arm, and he escapes. It's kind of an incredible story of survival. The reason I mention it is I think in a way it's almost like and it could be almost like a metaphor for what Lent is supposed to be about. And it's this. It's like asking ourselves during these weeks of Lent, what's got me stuck? What's the rock that keeps me from being free, being the person I want to be? And I'd say most of the times when we look at that, there's something we need to do in order to free ourselves up that we don't want to do, and it's not easy. But it's the only way out, kind of like this guy with the knife in a way. So I'd ask you just to think about, in these weeks of Lent, what is it I need to do to be the person God really called me to be? And chances are it's not going to be easy. But Lent's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be these weeks of... This guy he was in Utah, he was in the desert. This is sort of like our desert experience. Should be anyway, no matter where we live. What is it that I need to confront in order to make myself free? Maybe it's the need to forgive a person that I just haven't, or feel like I can't. Maybe it's my relationship with God, which is kind of just hasn't been great in a long time. I need to confront that. Maybe it's some responsibility that I need to go after, and I haven't been responsible in terms of a person in my life. What is it? Take these couple of weeks and go after that and free yourself up. It was 127 hours, that poor guy was where he was. 127 hours, 40 days. What's the rock that needs to be removed?